We know awkward fighters. Real fighters know awkward fighters. He's not an awkward fighter. He's just a dumb fighter.
You're trying to kill me or I'm trying to kill you. You know, I think it's, let's go in here and make this money. You know, it's more of a business tactic than anything.
Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're gonna do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're gonna spot us some pounds.
Press event, Gervonta Davis stirred up the atmosphere by sending a direct warning to Jake Paul. He stated firmly that his goal is to end the fight in dominant fashion, leaving no room for questions. Davis declared that he's stepping into the ring to deliver a knockout and secure the victory, showcasing complete confidence in his strength and mindset.
He's a fighter that just started fighting. That's, you know how when somebody first come in the gym and like, yeah. When somebody first come in the gym and they've been coming for like a little minute, so they think they nice now. They ain't get all the, everything down pat, but that's how he fight. I don't think he's an awkward fighter. Awkward is somebody, I don't want to call no names, but awkward is different from him. He's not awkward. We know awkward fighters. Real fighters know awkward fighters. He's not an awkward fighter. He's just a dumb fighter.
Eddie Hearn didn't mince words when discussing the unusual clash between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. He pointed out the vast gap between authentic boxing and pure showbiz, saying this matchup clearly belongs in the latter. In his view, it's less about skill or sporting merit and more about creating buzz. Hearn even laughed at the notion, describing it as comical and emphasizing that fans shouldn't mistake such exhibitions for elite-level boxing. His remarks highlight the ongoing concern among traditional promoters that entertainment-driven events are starting to overshadow the true spirit of the sport.
We're getting Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. What can you tell me about that? What can you tell me about why Jake and Anthony has maybe been put to the side for now?
Yeah, they always told us that it was, we were looking at that fight for February of next year, and they always said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then, but I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show. It's entertainment. It's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight. With, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round? I don't know what it is, but, I understand the market and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business. Now, whether you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers.
Ariel Helwani took a different stance, noting that in MMA, fans often welcome and even celebrate unusual matchups. Yet when boxing tries something similar, the reaction is far more critical. He argued that this reflects a double standard. In Helwani's view, the Davis versus Paul showdown may not represent pure boxing tradition, but it still carries entertainment value that audiences can appreciate. He stressed that this matchup shouldn't be judged against world title bouts or official contests, but rather enjoyed as a unique spectacle. For him, if fans can accept show-style fights in other combat sports, then boxing supporters should also allow room for this kind of event without overreacting.
Fight at. Generally, I'm sure it'll be a little bit closer, maybe 200 to 150. How much bigger can Tank get? Why would that be somewhat celebrated in MMA, but in boxing it isn't? Do you know what I mean, Pizzi? In MMA, we sort of love the freak shows, but in boxing they don't. Why do you think that is? What does that say about us in MMA?
Well, we're a sick bunch of fucks. There's no doubt about that. But I will say,
you agree, right, or no?
Yeah. The idea of the MMA freak show is everybody coming together and saying, "Oh, we're gonna watch a freak show. This is what this is. We know what this is. It is absolutely mental, what we're going to watch here." I think where people get annoyed with Jake is like, he even got me. You know what I mean? This guy is the greatest outrage farmer of all time. I saw his tweet and I was like, reading it, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, this is exactly what he fucking wants me to do. This is every time I'm doing this, he's in the game of getting eyeballs, and this is ridiculous. As long as why do I like an MMA freak show? Why would I watch Eddie Hall in an MMA fight against Dylan Dennis? I'd be like, this is fucking ridiculous, and I have to watch it. That's the way I feel about Jake Paul and Davis. I will watch it. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's all of us getting together to go to the circus for the evening. I think the reason why there's pushback against it when Jake does it is because Jake, and obviously tactfully, is going like, what are you talking about? This guy's a world champion. I took out Mike Tyson. He's a world champion. And then I'm going to take out Canelo and stuff like this. Like, he's winding us up. He's not agreeing to the stipulation that we're all agreeing on, which is, this is a freak show. This is absolutely mental. As long as we can agree with that, we can all enjoy it collectively.
Chael Sonnen took a harsher view, openly questioning Jake Paul's legitimacy as a boxer. He argued that the Paul brothers aren't recognized for true technical ability, but instead lean on their fame and financial resources to line up high-profile matchups. Sonnen pointed out the trend of Jake targeting well-known names or accomplished fighters, despite the obvious gap in boxing skill. To him, these contests aren't about fairness or competition, but about leveraging money and influence to grab the spotlight. His blunt critique echoes the sentiment of many who believe this fight is more about business than genuine boxing merit.
Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is, we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're gonna do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're gonna spot us some pound. Tank has one job to do, that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skill, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. Tank is telling anybody that will listen that there's a size problem. My skills and my experience in boxing, I do not have to wonder who's in the bar tonight. Any bar I go to, I rule the bar. Well, no, it turns out that you don't. Just need some big guy to corner you, apparently. Boxing has never stood its ground. Boxing has never been able to explain why Floyd needed a half hour to get rid of a guy who's never boxed before. Tank Davis has already began this. When you choose a dum-dum, don't be surprised when he goes out and acts like a dum-dum.
One of the most talked about aspects of this matchup is the huge size gap between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. Davis is naturally a lightweight, while Paul competes much closer to cruiserweight, creating a significant weight difference. This has sparked speculation that the fight might be more about storyline than competition. Some analysts argue that regardless of the result, Jake Paul stands to benefit more. If he beats Davis, it boosts his credibility against an elite boxer. If Davis wins, critics can easily dismiss it because of the weight disparity. These circumstances have fueled whispers that the outcome could be orchestrated to help Paul's career narrative.
He should beat Jake Paul, shouldn't he?
No, he shouldn't.
You don't think? Sorry. So, I thought we were all unanimous here. You think that you think Jake Paul beats Gervonta Davis?
70 pounds is 70 pounds.
Gervonta Davis is very small. 5'5".
He's tiny, bro.
That's
what I'm saying.
Jake Paul,
he's a little man.
If Jake Paul's tucking up,
move on,
and absorbing punishment for walking forward, then look, there's a way to run it.
Ryan Garcia drew parallels between this event and past controversial moments in boxing, pointing to exhibition fights involving Mike Tyson that many fans never really asked for. Garcia acknowledged that the public isn't exactly eager for Davis versus Paul either, yet noted that boxing often moves forward with such spectacles regardless of demand. He emphasized the clear size difference, calling the matchup unfair from the outset. In Garcia's opinion, while fans might feel uneasy about it, the hype and money behind the event will ultimately force people to accept it.
Bro, that's a fucking disgrace of a fight.
Yeah.
You know it. Just like the Mike Tyson, low-key was a disgrace, but we accepted it, but he was 60 years old. I mean, the casuals don't see the weight difference. They see Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. Yeah. And if Gervonta Davis doesn't fuck up Jake Paul, they're going to think Jake Paul is some pound-for-pound champion type of fighter. Yeah. Gervonta Davis, he's actually really small. Like, when I fought him, he's small. Yeah. So I just think it's a very unfair fight.
Jake Paul escalated the rivalry with one of his trademark stunts, releasing a video where he smashed a cake made to look like Gervonta Davis. The gesture was intended to mock and irritate his opponent, while also stirring up attention online. Known for his flair and promotion, Paul once again showed his ability to grab headlines and keep the spotlight on himself. The destruction of the tank-themed cake was a reminder that Paul relies just as much on psychological tactics and theatrics as he does on his performances in the ring. Seeing Gervonta Davis share the ring with someone as big as Jake Paul will feel almost surreal. The size gap is striking, yet Davis brings clear advantages in speed, skill, and defense. His sharp footwork makes it tough for opponents to land clean shots, and that mobility could neutralize Paul's reach and power. While Paul will try to lean on his size and length, tagging a smaller, elusive fighter like Davis won't be easy. Davis's counterpunching and defensive sharpness could open windows for success, despite the weight and height difference. That clash of pure skill against raw size is what makes this matchup so intriguing.
So crazy. Why is Gervonta Davis fighting a guy that big? There is some interest to that because you're not going to see Gervonta Davis. You're going to be able to see Gervonta Davis's feet. That's what I'm going to be interested to see, because I don't think Gervonta's going to jump out there and try to run up into Jake Paul and try to knock Jake Paul out. What I think Gervonta is going to do is Gervonta is going to move his feet, just going to move, make Jake Paul miss a lot, make Jake Paul look really dumb just by using defense on him and making him swing at the wind, because that is going to be very tough for him to hit a guy that is that little. If you play basketball, for example, and you are a tall 6'1" guy and you try to stand in front of some 5'8", real quick 5'8" guy, trust me, their first steps are going up out of there, those little teeny weeny dudes. So that's going to be very fun and interesting to watch how that goes down. Now, on the other side, you know what Jake Paul's going to do. He don't have no consciousness. He doesn't have a conscience about what he's trying to do. He's going to go in there and try to hurt a 60-year-old Mike Tyson. He don't care. He wanted to hit Nate. He's way bigger than Nate Jones when he fought Nate Jones. You think he didn't care about hitting Nate Jones upside the head? He's definitely going to be looking to try to get as much as he can get off on Gervonta Davis. And I see him trying to run up on him, trying to maul him, trying to grab him, trying to club him, trying to do all kind of craziness, man. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting thing to watch. Now, let me tell you what I really hope, and I haven't seen for this particular card, but I know that I know it's going to be good, which is the undercard. The undercard for the Canelo Alvarez fight and Terrence Crawford fight is absolutely horrendous. There's nothing on the thing that would make you want to watch to tune into that thing.
Even Terrence Crawford, widely regarded as one of the top pound-for-pound fighters today, dismissed the Davis versus Paul matchup as something not to be taken seriously. Crawford questioned how it could make sense to pit a nearly 200-pound fighter against someone who naturally competes at 135 pounds. To him, the event doesn't resemble a legitimate contest, but more of a business move. His reaction reflects the skepticism many boxing professionals share, viewing the matchup as spectacle-driven entertainment rather than authentic competition. Crawford's comments highlight the growing divide between true sporting contests and commercially motivated exhibitions.
I am interested to see, will it look similar to this, or will it be even more definitive in favor of Tank, like some people are suggesting? And with it being 10 rounds, like Jake Paul did start to gas at the end of his last fight. Like if that happens, maybe Tank could look at that and go, right, I'm going to work the body early, and when you do start fading, then I'm going to fucking really put the pressure on you. And it's one thing with Julio Cesar Chavez, in front of you, who's trying a little bit in the last 2 rounds, but Tank, even as small as he is, it will be a lot harder to keep him off. And what will Tank's power be like as a 135er? Like he's probably going to be about 150 when he gets in there, maybe. Will those punches on the big fat dome of Jake Paul actually really hurt? Because power can translate up a couple of divisions, but like that's a lot of divisions. What if Jake just takes them? No problem. I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying it would be fucking weird. This really is size versus skill in its purest form, and that is why I've got to admit I'm fascinated to see it. To be honest, I'm a little disappointed as well, because I wanted to see Tank versus Roach after they went to a draw in their last fight, a very controversial draw. I think Tank should have fucking lost it, to be honest. Tank doesn't give a shit about legacy and belts. He doesn't give 2 shits about that. He just wants money. And unfortunately, it's going to really hinder his legacy. His legacy will just be, yeah, he had a good run. But he's never going to be up there with the greats, despite his talent. That being said, if he chins Jake Paul, it won't really matter, because everyone will fucking love him, won't they? And ironically, I said Tank should be fighting Roach, but Jake Paul clearly now should be fighting Darren Till. This was Darren's fight the other night against Luke Rockhold, former UFC middleweight champion. Dropped him, hard to watch. There was just a massive gap in ability there. Like Rockhold being like a very well-rounded fighter in MMA, but Till just such a specialist in stand-up, and it showed. And this knockout was fucking brutal. Oh god, it was a terrible one. I mean, his leg was bent back and mate.
A heated rumor has been circulating, claiming that Gervonta Davis could be offered an enormous payout, reportedly around $200 million, to deliberately lose against Jake Paul. The speculation suggests Davis might take the money and allow Paul the victory, which has stirred outrage among boxing fans. Many argue that such talk damages the sport's credibility, raising doubts about whether the fight is genuine. If there were any truth to these claims, the matchup would shift away from competition and legacy, turning into nothing more than a business deal. The rumor has split opinions, leaving fans questioning if this event represents a real contest or just staged entertainment.
Now, really, y'all worry about the wrong question. Y'all worry about Roach, but the real question is, damn, is Tank getting paid $150, $200 million to take that dive versus Jake? Is he gonna do it? Now, I'm just thinking, like, damn, like, on them, $200 million? It's an exhibition, they gonna go on your record? Shit, what would I do? Would I take $200 million to lose a fake fight? Damn, G, Jake might win this fight, bro, because of shit. $200 million is an exhibition, y'all already talking shit. $200 million, would I take the dive? I think $200 million is worth taking a dive, gang. I honestly do think so. And it ain't even a real fight. I hope that's not the case, but that's a fucking solid fucking question. What the fuck is gonna happen in this fight? Like, is he gonna take the dive? It's an exhibition, so somebody gotta win. It's not real. It's like a play. When you really think about it, it's sparring. It's not real. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. What y'all think? What would you do? Would you take the $200 million to motherfucking lose to Jake Paul?
Polish it further with natural transitions, intro hooks and outro CTAs like "Don't forget to like and subscribe."